Giridvarada Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridvaradari Jana Vallabha Giridvarada Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda-nandana Braja-jana-ranjana Jamuna-tira-vanachari Jamuna-tira-vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janna Vallabha Giridvaradari Vallabha Giridvaradari Gopi Janna Vallabha Giridvaradari Yashoda-nandana Braja-jana-ranjana Yashoda-nandana Braja-jana-ranjana Jamuna-tira-vanachari Jamuna-tira-vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Parivrajakachajasto Tarasatasi Srimad Abhay Charanar Vinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Bhagavad-gītā Ki Jai. Glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees. Glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada. So, we're reading from Bhagavad-gītā, chapter 5, Karma Yoga, Action in Krishna Consciousness, text 18. A well-known verse. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavi Hastini Brahmane Gavi Hastini Sunichaiva Svapakkecha Sunichaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshanaha Pandita Samadarshanaha Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastini Shunichaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshanaha. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane Gavihastini Sunichaiva Sapakecha Pandita Samadarshanaha. Vidya, with education, Vinaya, and gentleness, Sampane, fully equipped, Brahmane, in the Brahmana, Gavi, in the cow, Hastini, in the elephant, Shuni, in the dog, Cha, and Eva, certainly, Sapakacha, in the dog eater, the outcast. Cha, respectively, Pandita, those who are wise, Samadarshinaha, who see with equal vision. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, outcast. Purport. A Krishna-conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. The Brahmanas and the outcasts may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme, for the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet remains himself as Paramatma, regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord, as Paramatma, is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana, although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the real soul and the supersoul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the body of the similarity of the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, do not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and the supersoul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within himself, within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. Homa Yajna timirandasya jnananjana shalakaya chakshushun militam jena tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapandantikam. Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmana Gavihastini Sunya Chaiva Supakecha Pandita Sama Darshinaha. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater, outcast. So this is discrimination. When we take discrimination, we can understand what is true and what is not true, sat and asat. And here Krishna is describing someone who has come to the platform of sat. How did he come to that platform? Well, it's described in previous verses by engaging in devotional service. Krishna mentions karma yoga, action in knowledge, and also he mentions the analytical study. And he says that of the two, we call it devotional service, means action in connection with the Lord. Action performed in connection with Krishna, a devotional service. Anything else, any other kind of service is going to produce karma, which produces these bodies. So we have these bodies, and there's 8,400,000 different species, different bodies. But that's a external consideration. It's a material consideration. For one who is on the transcendental platform, they're all equal. Why? Because they're all contain within them the jiva, which is the same as the Lord, the same quality as the Lord. And Prabhupada points out we have to be careful not to try to bring them onto the same level. We're not on the same level as the Supersoul. Supersoul is also present in all these millions of living entities in this material world. Supersoul is there, the Jiva soul is there. They're both of the same quality, but they're different. And what is the difference? Well, the Jiva soul is only cognizant of his own body, and the Supersoul is cognizant of all bodies. This is very important distinction for us as devotees, so that we don't overstep and try to... the tendency, because we have these bodies, these bodies are made up of, it's called parabdha. Parabdha means like the fruit, or it's mentioned that, all these karmas are like seeds. We have so much karma built up within us, and they're all in seed form. And when they fructify, that's what produces this body. This body is made up of the seeds which are fructifying. And, it's described that there's so many different bodies. Even sitting here, we're all humans, but we're different. And we have different qualities. And all these qualities, the makeup of this body is coming from our karma, which is fructified. So, the point in this chapter and this verse is that, we can be conscious of our internally, conscious of our real position as parts and parcels of the Lord. And if we come to a better understanding, then we understand that we're servants of the Lord in different ways. Or we can see the external position, and that doesn't lead us in a good direction, generally speaking. I'm thinking, and even as devotees, we have this issue, this problem, because we are thinking that we are something based on the external. The external is, as Krishna points out, it's just an interaction of the three modes of material nature. It's not real. What is real is our soul, our Jivatma, the Atma, which is covered over. Okay, it's covered over. Intellectually, by reading Bhagavad Gita and studying the other scriptures and discussing, we intellectually come to an understanding, right? That, well, I'm not this body. I'm a spirit soul, part and parcel of Krishna. I have the same qualities as Krishna. I'm Satchit Ananda. But that's okay, but then real knowledge comes when we are acting on that platform. And that's what these sages that are mentioned here, they're acting on that platform. How? Because they've become purified by devotional service, by acting for the benefit of Krishna and his devotees, and not for their own benefit. So when we act for our own benefit, we create karma, good karma, bad karma. It doesn't matter, it's karma, and it keeps us tied to this material consciousness, material life. And when we can engage in the service of the Lord, then, we have a fighting chance. We have a fighting chance. Of course, our position is not, at least in reality, not on this level. On this level, well, speaking for myself, I'm not on that level, and most of us are not. There are some who may be, but we are engaged in devotional service. We're aspiring devotees of the Lord, devotees of Srila Prabhupada, Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, Nrsimhadev, aspiring. But our service is mixed, generally speaking. Mishra Bhakti, mixed devotional service. So it's described that there's devotional service in ignorance, devotional service in passion, devotional service in goodness. It's devotional service, but it's mixed with those modes. Actually, you're studying the fourth canto of Bhagavatam, right? And the fourth canto of Bhagavatam actually deals with those three types of devotional service. In the beginning, the discussion is about Daksha. And Daksha was a devotee, but his service was mixed with ignorance. And therefore he made so many mistakes, and he got into conflict with Lord Shiva. And so he is the example of devotional service in ignorance. And then you have Dhruva. Then it goes to Dhruva Maharaj. And he's an example of, he's a devotee, and he reached the proper platform, but his devotion was mixed with passion. He wanted a kingdom greater than his father or even grandfather, right? And then we came to Prithu Maharaj, incarnation of the Lord, and his externally his devotional service was in goodness. So these, we're studying these scriptures, and we're trying to understand, and we have to relate it to our own situation so that we can understand. The acharyas give us a roadmap that we can follow. And if you're going somewhere, you have to know where you are before you can map out where you're going. So we have to understand where we are, and what is our current position. Then we can take the steps that are outlined. We have the basic formula, sadhana bhakti. The basic formula is there. Chant 16 rounds, rise early, follow the program. If we do that, engage during the day in some kind of service according to the direction of our authorities, or whatever we're inspired to do, as long as it's connected with Krishna, connected with the Lord, and preferably connected with the mission of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada's, the current, or Srila Prabhupada's movement, the current, what do you call it, where it's being exhibited, where the mission is being exemplified. So we need to be fixed in that area, but then also we have to do our own internal work. And our internal work consists of understanding where we are, and then taking steps to pull out the weeds that are there, and try to make advancement in Krishna consciousness. And we will come to this platform if we're not already there. This platform, it's like, how do we relate to this in our everyday life? Well, we can start by relationships with devotees. Right, Rupa Goswami tells us how we can interact with devotees. If I'm thinking that I'm something, then I'm not going to relate with devotees in a proper way. I'll be expecting something from them because I'm something. So they should recognize that and give me the proper respect or proper, relation. But it's not really like that. It's not really like that because we actually have to give up all these designations. Rupa Goswami says, there's different levels of devotees, and okay, but from our perspective, or from my perspective, how do I know what level you're at? I don't know. I can't tell. But I can understand my own level at least, or try to understand my own level, and that's low. Low. Low on the totem pole. Servant of the servant of the servant. So if we can have a proper attitude, then we can relate with people in a proper way. Then it extends out to the public, because we are we're supposed to be a movement of preachers. We're trying to give people Krishna consciousness. We've received it and we're trying to give it to others. So if we don't have the proper attitude when we're dealing with the public, again, that's going to hamper our ability to touch them, touch their hearts, give them some inspiration to at least take up some aspect of devotional life, get them started on the... and then, of course, here he's giving examples of humans, learned brahmana, dog eater, right? Very different, outcast. But then he also adds like animals in the mode of goodness, the cow, elephant, passion, So he's giving a cross-section of... but the point is, they're all living entities are... I don't want to say sons and daughters, let's say it like that. Of Krishna's the Father, the original Father. And so, they're all our brothers, even the worms in stool. They're all our brothers. And so, of course, we don't interact with all of those different entities, do we? We don't, but Krishna is saying that if you're on the right platform, if you're properly situated in knowledge, then you can see that equality. You can see that equality. And what's the equality based on? It's based on the eternal nature of the living entity. Not the external covering. Not the parabdha, what we came with into this particular body. And so, yeah. So, basically that's the understanding that Prabhupada is giving us. The presence of the Paramatma and the Jiva, they're both there. They're not the same, but at least the jiva are all the same. They're all parts and parcels of the Lord, and therefore worthy of. You're not going to go and hug a tiger, are you? A tiger's the same. It's just same. So you don't go and hug a tiger because you're going to get mauled. You know, he's an animal, right? But at least we take it in our interactions with other humans, at least. And especially since we're trying to be followers of Lord Chaitanya, we approach everyone. We give everyone the opportunity. We don't discriminate. We don't say, oh, those people are not, they're too low class. They're not going to understand. No. We give them the holy name. We chant. We give them prasad. We do whatever we can to connect them to the Lord. That's our duty. That's our duty. We got it. Now we share it. So we take, this on that level. Of course, anyway, I don't want to get into that area. The whole, animal protection group, that's all bodily concept as well. That's not based on spiritual, spiritual internal level. Internal, external. We're all living in that. We have an internal life and we have an external life. As devotees, as bhaktas in the ashram or followers of Srila Prabhupada, our external life consists of sadhana bhakti and preaching or connecting people with Krishna consciousness, or supporting the Krishna consciousness movement in whatever way we can. And our internal life is purifying the heart, chanting Hare Krishna, really trying to clear the dust from the heart. And that's done by chanting and engaging in service. So we have a perfect system that's been given to us by Srila Prabhupada and the previous acharyas, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and that group. On the instructions of Lord Chaitanya, they did a lot of work to categorize it all and give it a firm grounding in the Vedic scriptures. It's not just based on, sentiment, or it's very firmly fixed in Vedic understanding. But it's the bhakti aspect. The Vedas are very huge, and you can get so much from them. You can go in so many different directions. But the bhakti shastras are what we are interested in, and the six Goswamis categorized it all for us and gave us the cream. They gave us the cream. And Vyasadeva also gave us the cream in the form of Bhagavatam. Krishna gave us the Bhagavad-gītā. So we have everything we need. We have it all. It's been handed to us by His divine grace. Now it's just a question of us taking it up. And in order to take it up properly, internally, externally it's okay. You can, we have our way of interacting, but internally, the internal work is actually more important, because that's that's where we're going to make real progress. And it doesn't change the external. The external doesn't change, you know. Someone on the level of bhav, externally he's doing the same things that we're doing. He won't be able to. You may be able to understand, but generally speaking, it's internal. It's not external. When we were with Srila Prabhupada, I mean, externally you could feel that, hey, this person is different. You know, there's something there. But in his actions and in his dealings, you didn't find anything. He was chanting his rounds and giving the classes and doing his preaching work and organization of the society. Externally, he was doing what, you know, Govinda does, or any temple president or GBC. He was doing the same things. Internally, different question. And you didn't see that very often. You didn't see that internal expression. You could feel something, but you didn't see him expressing it, because it's not done. It's not recommended. It's kept internal. And you know, even when Mahaprabhu was present, he just had a small circle of devotees who he would go into ecstasy with. It wasn't with everyone, right? So internal, external, you know, hopefully we're beyond the material external. Hopefully we're engaged in some kind of from mixed to pure devotional service, somewhere in that range. Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhusanga Bhajana Kriya, where in most of us are on that level. We're trying to clear. We're trying to purify ourselves. And that's what we should be focused on internally. And externally, we treat everyone equally. Friend to all. Prabhupada was a fantastic example of that. Fantastic example. Because, you know, it didn't matter who he met or who he talked to, he related with them like anything. It's described in isn't it in that song about the 6 Goswamis, how they're like equal, they're friendly, the devotees they're friendly to everyone, approachable by everyone. They don't put on airs like we do. Some of us put on airs, or, you know, not like that. They're real devotees. They know who they are, and therefore they know who you are. So knowing who you are is the starting point. You have to know the science of self-realization. That we have to know who we are, and we have to know where we are in the levels of, you know, so many different levels. We have to know where we are, because unless we know where we are, we won't be able to plan out where we're going. If I'm tomorrow I'm traveling to Milan, if I put in my maps, if I put in that I'm leaving from Berlin, I'm going to have a problem. I'm not going to get the proper route. You have to know where you are. It's important. And, you know, we don't rely on our minds for that, our own minds, because we can cheat. We do cheat ourselves, That's what devotional association is about. We discuss with other devotees, inquire confidentially, hear confidential. How do you think I'm doing, Prabhu? Can you help me out? Can you, where do you think, where do you think I need to improve? These kind of questions and interactions is required, because if we rely solely on our mind, we're going to run into problems. Or Shastra Chakshus, we have the scriptures. See through the eyes of the scriptures, where am I at? What am I doing? What am I doing wrong? What do I have to do to improve? What can I do? Hare Krishna. Any questions or comments? I don't know how long this is supposed to go on, but...
Oh, yeah, it's good. 15 minutes. 15.
More 15, you say?
Yes, it's
And is there another one at 7 p.m.? Because on the internet I have seen website, I've seen 6 to 7 is Kirtan and 7 to 7. So the art company is 6:30 to 7.
The class is earlier nowadays.
Good that I came early.
Yes, that's good. Hare Krishna. You talked also about distributing the mercy, giving the mercy to others, trying to attract everybody to the movement. And I was also wondering, because you're so many years now already practicing Krishna consciousness, those who come, and also for myself, how to stay in Krishna consciousness. What are your tips?
Well, speaking for myself, I stay in Krishna consciousness because I have nowhere else to go. What else am I going to do? But really, the answer is sadhu sangha. Without sadhu sangha, it's not possible. And coming to the realization that without sadhu sangha, without the association of devotees, we are nothing. It's an important realization, and it's a realization that I came to many, many years ago. Without the devotees, where are we? What hope do we have? We don't have any real hope without devotees. So I think it's very important as devotees to keep in association with other devotees in order to maintain and develop our own Krishna consciousness. So there's always what is it called? Like best, better, topmost, or something like that. What is that? The three,
perfect, more perfect.
Yeah, like that. It's like that in more than one way. Just like, it's chanting. Japa, it's the Sankirtan is the Yuga Dharma, chanting the holy names of the Lord Yuga Dharma. So chanting 16 rounds as directed by Srila Prabhupada, that's perfect. But more perfect than that is chanting together with devotees in kirtan. And most perfect is going out there on the street and chanting to the public. So they're all perfect, but there's levels of perfection, and the most perfect, in the case of chanting, is when we're out there doing Harinam to the public. That's what Mahaprabhu wanted. Chanting our own rounds is perfect. And obviously we're going to do that. But we're going to get more benefit from the most perfect. Right? So you have Mathura, Dwarka, Vrindavan. Perfect, more perfect, most perfect. They're, so in relation to what your question was, we have to try for the most perfect, strive. It's not that we're going to make it all the time, but it's actually quite easy in most cases. Especially in, like, we get a lot of juice when we go out on Sankirtan. Also the Brihat Madanga, that kind of Sankirtan. So we attract people, how to keep people and how to keep ourselves in Krishna consciousness, the practice of Krishna consciousness. Sadhu Sangha is for me the only saving grace. Otherwise, I would be gone. I would be gone. And but that association, it's important that we actually associate in the way that we're supposed to, like Rupa Goswami says. So we see that a lot of senior devotees who had a lot of years in Krishna consciousness, did a lot of service, but somehow or other they left. Because, and if you examine, at least I examine sometimes some of my god brothers, they became aloof. They were not associating in the way that's recommended by Rupa Goswami. And so they were not really associating. They were in the association of devotees, but they were not really associating. So when I say associate with devotees, be in the association, we have to associate in the way that's recommended by the acharyas. Dadati, pratigrinati, guyam apyati prichati, bhungte bojayate chaiva, sadvidim pritilakshanam. So that performance that we had this afternoon, that was association. Sharing prasad, giving prasad and taking prasad together. That's and then inquiring. It's very important that we inquire confidentially and it has to be done with someone that we have a trust with. In ISKCON you can't just go to anyone, because then suddenly you'll be on the internet, in Facebook, big splash. You have to do it confidentially with confidential people that you have a good and solid relationship with, which means you have to develop those relationships. So this is recommended. And giving gifts and receiving gifts, this is all part of associating, as described by Rupa Goswami. That keeps us safe, as far as I understand it. And those people who leave, they're finished anyway. I mean, finished in terms of their material life. They have to, they have their stock of, because whatever we do is not diminished at all in service. It's there. And so, was that, don't go down to the Jamuna where that blue boy is playing, you'll get trapped, you'll be finished. Your material life will be finished. So even when devotees leave they can't stay away ultimately. Even if not in this lifetime, they have to come back and take up their devotional life again. It's guaranteed they have to.
You spoke before about there is the external part of the devotee, but there's the much importance should be on his internal cultivation. And I would like to inquire, okay, how to, well, if you'd like to share some examples or some experiences on your life, how to keep this internal cultivation, so the urgency of throughout all the different activities that we have to do, maybe responsibilities, decent duties, and how to keep stronger this focus on the internal cultivation of Krishna consciousness.
In the beginning, it's simply chanting our rounds in a way which is, you know, they are always in the kirtan, from the heart, once again, from the heart. It means something, you know, even though it's like a little trite when you're in a kirtan and the kirtan leaders, in a bhajan and the kirtan leaders saying that, it's a little trite, for me anyway. But the fact is that it has to be on the level of the heart. So when we chant our rounds, our our japa, when we're doing our japa meditation, you know, we have to be focused, internally focused, and we have to cultivate that internal focus when we're chanting, because it's very easy for the mind to run off. It does all the time. And so we have that internal voice. You know the internal voice, your internal voice? You have one? Yes? Yeah, so that internal voice has to be chanting also, along with your external voice. The two have to be in sync. So that's how it begins. And then when you're doing your service, when you're doing practical service, the external thing is just, I'm doing what I have to do, but then the internal thing is the attitude. Developing the proper attitude of service. So when we do that, the heart becomes purified. And the spiritual master, within the heart, from within the heart, you get realized knowledge. That realized knowledge starts, Dibya Gyan, Hridoy Prakasito. It comes from the heart. It's manifest within the heart. And so then you start getting into more higher levels by the grace of the spiritual master, by the grace of the devotees, by the grace of Krishna, trying to understand we're all servants of the Lord, but how am I a servant of the Lord? What is my relationship with the Lord? These are all internal practices, but it comes later. It's not now. For most of us, not now. But it does come. And my point was, it remains internal. It doesn't come out. It's part of the internal process. And externally, we're just doing what we do externally. So the internal work can start immediately when we're chanting. It's about attitude, it's about focus, it's about chanting internally. You know, he used to, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur, he used to chant 3 lakh names or whatever it was, but some part of those he used to chant internally. That's a practice, because we want to control the mind. So the mind is controlled by chanting, Hare Krishna internally. So we want to do our, the lips have to be moving and the tongue, the Krishna's dancing on the tongue and all of that. But internally, we also have to be chanting, not thinking about what's for prasad or this or that or what am I going to do later, I have this to do, I have that to do. No. Chanting, internally and externally. So that's where it begins, that internal work. And then attitude as we're doing our service and as we're dealing with other devotees. Trinadapi sinichena tarorapi sahishnuna. We have to develop a humble attitude, more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. This is all internal work that we have to do. It doesn't just manifest. It can if you chant once purely, but who's doing that? I can't do that. Ajamil did it somehow. But it's not me and it's not us in general. I'm speaking in general terms. So, yeah, this is the work. Internal, external. It's there. It's 1830, sorry. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, very soon. This 2 periods.